Is it just us, or is the universe asking a lot this month? This August, we're diving into the cosmic tides with Seeking Center astrologer Stevie Calista. From an Aquarius full moon to a heart on fire new moon in Leo, we're talking transformation on every level. And yes, Mercury retrograde is still going. Whether you're navigating tech troubles, revising your passion projects, or rethinking your role in the collective, this month offers opportunities to reflect, release, and rise up. Tune in for the Astro Wisdom, aligned action steps, and grounded guidance to ride August waves with clarity and soul. Hi, Stevie. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi, Robin. Hi, Stevie.
Get us ready, Stevie. What do we have to look forward to in August?
So I think we should address the things we were speaking about before we started recording, which is like how much fire and air is available. And
That's the right way of putting it.
I keep saying it's at least it's not earth and water and we're not stuck in the mud. Like that feels different, but there's a lot of fire and air. There's a lot of new energy. A lot of planets have shifted at the beginning of this year into new signs, which makes the energy feel like you can't catch your breath. Everyone I'm talking to right now is, it's not bad energy. It's just a lot. And on top of the sun being in Leo, which is summertime, the sun's at its max. Everything's very bright, very loud, very energized. But all the other planets too, we have so much fire and air. And when you add air to fire, it makes more fire. That's why I think things feel so, oh my gosh, can we just pause for a second?
Oh, you are just putting words to the feelings. It really, as you said before we got started, we were just catching up for a moment personally, and I was saying, I just feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I,
It feels frenzied and frenetic, all
Yeah.
those words that just make you feel anything but grounded.
100%. And that's why I think us taking the time during Mercury retrograde, which it's retrograde for the first couple of weeks of this month, to slow down intentionally and to find the earth, find the water, find the things that kind of cool you down. I don't know about you guys, but I've had to get in water every day in some way, shape, or form just to not cry or freak out in my nervous system. Or just like laying on the grass or just cooling foods. I've just done my best to get into that energy, and that will really benefit us, at least for this first half of the month when we're in Leo season and when Mercury's retrograde, because we really are still being asked to slow down. Go revisit your old hobbies, do what little you would want to do, go create, go relax. And I know like this energy of Aries and Gemini, which are where a lot of the outer planets are, making us feel like we just have to keep moving forward and using the momentum. And it feels scattered at the same time, but there is still this invitation for us to chill the F out. And so that is on offer for us. And on the first of this month, we're actually starting a new Mercury cycle when the sun and Mercury meet together. And so this is like a new moon for Mercury. And it starts a 4 month mercurial cycle, which means like related to your mind, projects, writing, reading, learning, communicating, those types of things. So you can plant a seed at the beginning of this month for this new energy that's on offer for us. And that's every time Mercury is retrograde, halfway through the cycle, we start a new Mercury cycle. So some of the retrograde energy that you might be feeling might start to clear up a little bit. You might get some clarity on some things, but there's still an invitation to slow down and play.
Stevie, can you also feel like things are not getting anywhere? That's how I feel. Like, even in this frenetic feeling, oh my gosh, I have to do something right now because of this fire. I'm feeling like nothing's getting done. Is
Yeah.
that common? Is that part of the Mercury?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have Neptune and Saturn so close together in Aries right now, which is this brand new rebirth of self. And we're all probably feeling like we want to start new things, plant new seeds, but like we're at the very beginning of this. And in the fall, we're going to back up into older energies to sweep up some old stuff that we missed. And so just have some grace for yourself because we're just starting. Like this is just like a little bit of a rebirth of self. And if you look back to January and say, I'm a different person, I really am different than I was. And we're a little bit more bold and courageous to be ourselves right now, which is really cool because when you hang out in Piscean energy, which we've been hanging out in for a long time, we can get a little bit confused or foggy about who we are. We become a little bit more one with the universe, which makes the I am self a little bit murky. So we're in that I am self now, but now we're about, wait, who am I? And what do I need to be doing? And I feel like I need to move forward, but I don't know where to go. And so if you can just stand still for a minute and just let that energy come in, it's a long cycle. So like pace yourself.
How long is it? Can you remind us?
Saturn will be in Aries for 2.5 years, starting in 2026. And I believe Neptune 17 to 18 years. So its
Yeah.
Pisces cycles were a really long period of time. And all of the other planets are in different signs too. So we're in this just all the energy feels different right now.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
it?
really does. And I'm also really grateful that you brought up the mercurial cycle, which I never really thought about. I know it intellectually that Mercury retrograde happens every 3 to 4 months, but never really articulated it in the way that you just expressed it. So I love the way you put it, that here we are, and we're going to be in this energy for the next several months. Because I'm always concentrating on the retrograde part of
Yeah.
it, which is only 3 weeks.
Yeah, and if you think about the retrograde period, like the first part of the retrograde is hang on, is there anything else you really need to sweep up right before you start the new cycle? Just like when the moon is going towards new and it's in that dark phase, you're like sloughing off the newness or you're exfoliating the old stuff before you can start the new. And so every planet, when it meets with the sun, has a new cycle. It starts a new cycle. So some of them are 28 days with the moon, and some of them are years and years.
Yeah.
And I love this idea since all of this is just starting. It is very supportive for us, like you said before. I know we say journal all the time, and I'm sure people roll their eyes sometimes about it, but there is this moment in time where it's, yes, slow down, take a moment before this next new cycle comes into being. So it's a helpful reminder, as always, as we're feeling that energy. It's okay, take a chill, take a moment. This time is going to support you in doing.
And something else too, like with Aries energy, you want to burn off some of the chi because it's a lot. So it can build where you start that frenetic energy you're feeling is very physical with Aries. It's in our bodies, right? Take the walk or do the thing where you burn your physical body out so you can sleep. Because I know a lot of people are struggling with sleep right now too. So yeah, that's a way to get into your body to burn it off or go swimming or do something where you're using that energy because it builds and it can explode or just feel very uncomfortable.
You're explaining so much of how I'm feeling. Okay, so what else do we need to keep in mind?
This month we have Uranus sextiling Neptune, which are two outer planets in harmony with each other, which is so cool. And it offers us this dissolving away of old stories of who we were and inviting in new perspectives and new ideas. And that's also why the energy feels the way it does. It's because it's like the curious student that's just shown up. Ooh, what am I doing? Who am I? But this is a flow state for us. And this is really on offer for, it's going to go in and out for like the next year or so. There's this flow in between like new ideas and creating something from an idea, like pulling in a new idea and then being able to shape it and innovate it into something new. So that's a really cool thing that we have in August too. And you will probably hear about the 8/8 Lionsgate.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Which is Karen's birthday.
Yes, which is amazing. And just astrologically speaking, Sirius is rising, the planet Sirius, which is our sister sun, and Sirius energy is very high vibrational. And the Egyptians, and probably way before them, really honored that. That's why the pyramids are lined up the way they are, but it's rising at the horizon in the sky. And so it's not like a lineup of the sun and Sirius, like you'll hear some of that misinformation, but it's basically Sirius energy on offer for us, which is higher vibrational. The sun is at 15 degrees of Leo on the 7th of August, and that's the middle point between the equinox and solstice. That's a very powerful point. It's called Lammas, and it's basically the start of harvest. And so these energies together create this very highly vibrational state for us. And so it is a sort of portal, 8/8. And they use that because the numerology of 8/8 is really special, right? But it's really from the end of July into the middle of August that we're in this frequency. And they say too, like there's a lot of Lyran energy, there's a lot of starseed energy available to us during this period of time. So it's just a lot of energy. And when we're in a high vibrational light space, some of the darkness and stuff like that, it can feel overwhelming,
Mhm.
honestly. But at the same time, it's really a beautiful time to really get into your heart, do
Mhm.
your clearings. I keep hearing the word forgiveness, compassion, like really opening your heart to this energy and helping you clear out some of the stuff that has been weighing you down.
Would you suggest on the 8th doing a specific ritual of some sort?
Not necessarily. The seventh to me is more potent.
So would you recommend doing something on the 7th to honor?
Yeah, for sure. I honestly feel like go outside in the sun and play in the water. Go be in your garden. Go honor the sun. Go honor the light in yourself. Go connect with your heart in any way in which you want to honor that heart-centered, expressive, like sun energy. That is a great way to do it. And really, the seventh, when we start Lamas, is about we begin harvest.
Mm.
So, like, we start to see the complete fruits of our labor, and now we have to take those and do something with them. So, that's the symbology of it, too. And our ancestors really honored these dates, the wheel of the year.
That's
They're powerful.
I always feel in the summer anyway, because we're in the light, even if it's hot, it brings that joy and gratitude feeling into your heart. At least I do. And the more I get outside, the more I feel that at this time of year. So I love that idea of on the 7th, allowing yourself to amplify that energy. I know we're leaving on the 7th to go down to the beach as a family. So I love that idea of fruits of my labor, which is, I guess, is my family. And then celebrating near water, it feels like a good bounty way of just leaning into that time.
Yeah, and like gratitude practices, right? Like you said, that energy is, yeah, on offer for us.
that's really cool. So then what happens as we continue
Yes.
on?
On the 9th of August, we have a full moon in Aquarius at 16 degrees. This one, for the most part, is very harmonious. There's a lot of, and just to back up, when you have a full moon in Aquarius, the moon is in Aquarius and the sun is in Leo, right? And so they're in opposite points of each other. And the themes of those two signs have everything to do with how do I belong to the group? What's my place in helping humanity raise its consciousness? What's my place in helping my community, my friends? Do they see me? Do I see them? And so some of these themes might really come up to the surface for you right now. It could be a time where you really do want to be with your friends, where you want to take up a new cause. But there's just this moment of how does my heart fit with the group? And do they actually see me? Can I express? And this Mercury retrograde in Leo is really asking us, are you expressing your heart? Do you need to revisit or rethink that? Do you need to say something, even if it's not quite understood or communicated? This full moon really gets this illumination aspect. And we started the Leo new moon on July 24th, right? That's when we planted the Leo new moon seed. So whatever happened around July 24th is really coming into light. Something about it is being illuminated. And so Aquarius full moons really show us, they highlight humanity as a whole, like the whole group. And so that is going on the 9th as well.
Lots of illuminations.
Yeah. The thing also about that time is we have Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune. And so we have Mars moving into Libra on the 7th. So for the last 6 weeks, it's been in Virgo. You've been driven towards Virgo and things, which essentially means that we've been driven to make things more efficient and better and more organized and perfect things, right? And find our service. So if you've been feeling like, oh my God, I really need to clean out my closets and I need to make things better and I'm not organized enough, perhaps even a slice of criticism to self and other. That's what Mars and Virgo, because it likes to make things better. When it moves into Libra, there's this moment of harmony that we're driven towards being in right relationship and reciprocity with other people. Essentially, we're trying to find the immediate neutral zone when Mars is in Libra. And a lot of astrologers will say it's in detriment, meaning it doesn't like to be there. If you think about Mars as moving forward and really masculine and very independent, it moves into a sign of harmony and peace, right? And others. But actually, it's really a beautiful time to find peace, find balance, find harmony. But there's this moment on the 9th when it opposes Saturn and Neptune where you're going to feel some tension. You're going to feel like maybe I need a boundary or I can't find harmony within myself or gosh, I really want to find balance. And I've been feeling this so strongly. Like I've just been craving balance because I feel out of balance. But this is a moment where you're going to feel this like shift. You're going to feel a need to either change your energy, take responsibility for yourself, pull up a boundary, do something to change how you're feeling out of balance. So that also goes along with this full moon. And these themes are self and other, like me and relationships or me and balance. And so we're going to feel that during this full moon as well.
Wow, that's a lot.
It seems like a bit of a swing, right? So you're going from that sort of joyful, harmonious time in early August. And then as you're getting past that time frame, there's more, okay, lots going on here. Got to put some boundaries up for myself. So it's good.
And it feels, I don't want to get too ahead, but isn't Mercury retrograde over within a few days of that?
Yep. So I was just going to say that Mercury is going to be stationing that week. So we're going to feel that Mercury scrickly energy of, but usually on the way out, when Mercury starts moving forward again, we definitely will feel him, but it's not quite as strange feeling as when he starts his retrograde. This is where we're like, okay, maybe we have some clarity and we need to start getting momentum. But yeah, he goes direct on the 11th. I feel like it's not necessarily like the most tense week of all, but there is this moment of, okay, I need to find balance. I need to do something. And because Neptune is there, it's not just Saturn saying, take responsibility. You're not doing the work. Neptune's there too, saying it doesn't have to be so hard. It's just energy. You can let it dissolve. You can let that thing go. You can change your frequency. That's really what Neptune offers us. And that's also why having them together is really interesting, that we're in this energy this year. Not just hard work and responsibility. It's, are you in right relationship with the frequency of the energy itself?
It feels supportive if you can have that perspective and ask the question. It feels like the energy is there to support you in making lasting change.
Yeah. From the stories on the inside out from that place. Saturn and Neptune together are asking us to stop being a victim of our own identities and our own stories.
I love that. Yeah, owning it.
Owning it. I feel like there's a moment here in this month where we're going to be like, oh, I need to make a change. I need to take action. That's Mars. Like, I need to do something different. And it could be in relationships, and it could be just how you feel in balance or out of balance in life. Because Libra is the scales, right? So we're always trying to find. Libra is never fully balanced, though, you guys, ever. That's like a total misconception.
Yeah, because I
Libra.
thought it was.
Libra's always trying to find balance. It's on a mission and it never arrives there fully for the most part.
Oh.
We're doing our best.
So then anything else for that week?
So the other thing that I have for this week is Jupiter and Venus meet up on the 12th in Cancer. And I love this energy so much. Venus and Jupiter are our most beneficial planets in astrology, right? They bring like pleasure and expansion and abundance. And so them coming together means that it's a good week to focus on pleasure. And in Cancer, there's big feels this week because of it, and big family energy, home energy. But to me, this feels like refreshing your home, maybe having a good, nourishing cry, getting into water, finding things that make you feel joyful, getting more real and honest about what you value and what's important to you. It's very feminine this week, very feminine. And so, yeah, two beneficial planets coming together on the 12th is in Cancer is really very nurturing, mama bearing, and feminine in nature. So it's a really good time to cook and tend to your home, tend to your emotions, tend to your kids, tend to your garden, those types of things.
I love that. I'm already feeling that. It's weird when I was looking at that week because Bella starts back at school the week after.
Mm.
So I've been thinking about that week and how do you make the most of it? So it's interesting that you brought that up.
And it's the end of summer for a lot of people too, where you're getting back to routine and you're getting back to that more day to day. So that totally makes sense.
Yep. And that's really the last week we're in Leo season, right? Because the next week we have.
Right. Yeah, then we have Virgo.
So technically, the sun moves into Virgo late night on the 22nd, which we'll all be sleeping, at least here in the United States. But on the 23rd, we have a new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees, which is really interesting to have us have the sun move into a sign and then instantly the moon hits it and we have a new moon. So on the 23rd, there is a new moon in Virgo, and this one is squaring Uranus. And
Ooh.
that means change. That means
Yeah.
unexpected. That means sudden something coming into your life. That means liberation, freedom, coming more into authentic truth. And so it's a really good new moon to plant a seed of change. If there's something that you feel a little bit imprisoned by or trapped by or is just not right for your soul, this is a really good new moon to plant a seed to do something about it. Virgo asks us to be productive. It's Earth. So it's like, what can I do to make this better? What action steps from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like very organized, like an Excel spreadsheet, can I get to my goal? And it's willing to take those steps to get to that goal and then celebrate when it gets there. And during Virgo season, we all like our routines. We like to be more organized. There's a reason why it feels that way for us. It's, oh, I can really get in here and get my stuff done and reorganize my life. And it feels good to be back in routine after summer energy is not at all like that.
Yes, I always love the reminder about Virgo season from you because it has always helped make so much sense of that time where you are getting back into the swing of things. And to your point, you're ready.
And this idea of planting a seed, that's the right time to do it. So
Exactly.
It seems like the energy for this one in particular is very much inviting you. And that if you take advantage of that, and maybe sometimes you'll just be forced by the universe, but having that Uranus energy is going to just make things happen quickly.
Definitely. The thing about this one though is like when we plant a seed in a certain energy, like the soil is like a certain way for the new moon. So we're planting that seed and that soil stays in that frequency until the full moon. So having a square to Uranus is definitely a moment where we're gonna feel a little bit like, God, I just want to break free. When we have a square, it's like actually challenge, but it's actually when things work, when we change. So it's not about balancing, it's about coming up against the tension of the square itself and saying, okay, I really want to break free from this. And because Uranus is in Gemini, there is this really cool like energy around changing your mind. Like you can change your mind, you can change your perspective,
Wow.
you can look at it from a completely different, curious way of seeing it. It's very open. And with that energy is on offer for us whenever it's in Gemini, whenever Uranus is in Gemini, which it has been for the last couple of months. So we get to change your mind. What if you could just change how your story was? So this new moon gives us that invitation to be like, yeah, just change it and then move forward. To me, it intuitively feels if we have generational cycles, which I know I do, of criticism, I come from two lines of very critical people, you can break free from these criticism patterns that have held you down or these perfectionist patterns because Virgo just wants to make it better because it can. But there's an invitation here to look at it from a different angle. Give yourself permission to be a little bit messier. So I think it's going to change the flavor of the beginning of the Virgo season for us.
I love that. And it's also making me think about the fact that we are doing a virtual event together, along with Michelle Nolan and Lizzie Cutler, around tapping in and tuning into who you really are so that you can potentially make some change. So it feels like energetically very on point, which I know we did consult you on dates. So that will be on August 25th. There's probably no coincidence.
Nope.
I love seeing you bring up this idea of changing your mind. How often do we forget we can really do that?
And
Or
how often are you in like the it's gonna be the same as it was? Like you're already in that story before it even happens. That
exactly,
sometimes you don't even see that it's changed.
exactly. And how often we get caught in our own story because we think that's either the way I've always done it or that's the way and that we always have that power in any moment to change our minds. So I love that we can be supported in that. And it's just a good bubble up thought for us to remember that we're not really stuck in any kind of pattern. We always have that power to shift.
Yeah, I think I need that tattooed on my
I
forehead.
know. I think we all do.
So then anything else as we wind down August?
The 25th, actually, that following week, Venus moves into Leo and it's out of its shadow. So it's finally out of that retrograde cycle that it started in July. And so that's new territory for Mercury. And Venus moving into Leo also means like this fresh energy of creativity. Venus in Leo is like a goddess. She's so playful. She's so expressive, so creative. She's like the ballerina or like the one that just has to express from the heart her pleasures and her feminine energy. So, Karen, you have Venus in Leo, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I always perk up when you say Venus.
I know. I love her there. She's so good.
It's
So,
like, yeah, like loving, playful,
yes,
fun, just living energy.
just living. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's going to bring this fun, creative fire to that last week. And Mercury being out of the shadow in Leo also brings in new territory, just new energy. We're out of that cycle. That's basically the gist of the last week. The last week feels a little bit like a nice little sprinkle of something new.
Which is a nice way to
Round out. the summer.
Yeah, it is. It
Going
is.
to now Labor Day, and it feels fun and frolicky. So it feels overall like for the month itself, it's like we've got the 9th, maybe could be a little bit prickly, and there may be a couple other interspersed there. But overall, it feels like a very kind of a yummy month overall.
It's like an invitation
Yeah.
to do some deep dives and utilize that energy to start some transformation from things that may be illuminated, especially at the first half of the month.
Yeah.
And then plant those seeds so that as you move forward, even in the year, that you're making use of all that you are learning. And then ending the month in that kind of more fun, a little lighter, playful.
Yeah, there's a lot of Venus energy this month, so take advantage of it. Indulge, find your pleasure, find what you desire. It's very like heart-centered energy. But there also, again, all this month, there's so much fire and air, so make sure to balance it with earth and water as much as you can, because especially in the beginning of the month, you're going to really feel it. Even when Mercury and Venus are still in Leo, even during Virgo season, there's still that fire there that might be like, ah. And Virgo can sometimes be like, there's not enough time. I'm so stressed out. I have so much to do. So be careful when we move into that energy that you're not like, it can just be overwhelming.
A reminder, that's around 22nd, 23rd is when we shift into it. So be conscious of it, because we know we're beginning the month in this kind of feeling of there's so much. And then that Virgo season supports you in that productivity type of energy.
Absolutely. It can just sometimes you can just overwhelm yourself or have Virgo likes to make its expectations so high that we could never live up to it. So you have to be careful with your expectations of self. And in August and even a little bit of September, we're still in this new planetary energy, and we're gonna eventually, October, November, December, planets are gonna start backing up into older energies where they were before. And it's just this is also just temporary. Like we're gonna go back to like earth and water.
But this is a taste.
This is a taste of 2026.
This is a taste of that air and fire, which is, it's powerful.
Yeah, intense.
It is a different feel. Stevie, thank you so much for setting us up so that we can make the most of the month and being that guide.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, you guys.
We appreciate you.